Every day that that I go through life, excuse me. Every day I go through life, I become more and more thankful for my journey and where it has led me and how it has prepared me for the things that I go through as I continue to just go through the progressions of what life is. And I'm thankful for the growth that I've seen in my life. I'm thankful for the lessons that I've learned from all my mistakes. And I'm thankful that I gave myself to God. I'm never going to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not striving to be perfect. I'm just striving to make progress every day. But I'm also thankful for, in doing that, I've done a lot of other things as well. And a lot of those things have to do with, you know, uh, self-respect, controlling your emotions, educating yourself on the way to deal with certain situations in life, um, taking care of yourself. These are all things that I always talk to you guys about. Um, and I'm just thankful that my journey has taken me through all those different facets of life and taught me how, I shouldn't even say taught me, prepared me for how to deal with certain situations that the old me would have handled a very different way. And although when I think about situations that I've gone through, and I'm telling you this because something happened with me yesterday that I will talk about at a later time, because there's some stuff that's still developing. But when I think about the old me and how I would have handled certain situations, I still, part of me still thinks, you should go handle it that way so they know. But then I understand there are so many different repercussions that affect people that I love, that it's not smart for me to do that anymore, that I gotta bite the bullet, and that I have to have self-mastery. This is a book right here that I'm reading, The Mastery of Self. And I always tell you guys that I feel like God's timing is never wrong. It's perfect. It's flawless. And I just so happen to be reading this book. I'm almost done with it. And I've been taking my time reading it because it's such a good book. But it talks about mastering yourself and learning your triggers, learning the things that make you who you are right now. The things that maybe you were taught as a kid that are triggers for you now as an adult. The things that they call you domesticated, when you're domesticated and you're told certain things when you're a kid that affects you now as an adult. I mean, it went down to talking about, being told, hey, you have to finish everything on your plate before you go to bed. I remember being told that as a kid, and how it affects you when you get older, because then you start taking those lessons and teaching them to your kids, whether they be good lessons or bad lessons. And it talks about, for instance, the food thing. Some people grow up and they've been domesticated with that, so they grow up thinking that they got to finish everything. These end up being people that are obese, that have eating problems, because they were trained, you have to eat everything before you can go to sleep. And something as basic as that can become a bigger problem as an adult. But it also talks about things that you were taught outside of stuff like that domesticate you. And it talks about how these things become triggers when you become an adult, and how you have to identify them and learn to be able to walk away from them, or learn to take everything in, process it, and say, oh, I know why I'm reacting this way. And adjusting yourself and saying, look, I'm just going to walk away from the situation. I'm going to stand over here. I'm not going to let this affect me because I know what this is. So it talks about learning to master yourself and understanding all of these things that have somehow embedded themselves in your brain, in your body, and are all triggers now. And identifying that and realizing that you can control these things, that you can put these things in their compartments and say, I know what this is, I'm going to put this here, I know what this is, I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to get through this without overreacting, without making it a big deal and affecting everybody that I love around me. And I have gotten so much better at that, because my first reaction, my knee-jerk reaction to a lot of things that went on in my life used to be off emotion, used to be immediately like, whatever it's going to be, whether it be arguing, whether it be getting physical, whatever it is, I'm with it. And I've had to learn, and doing the work through reading and educating myself, it has helped me to deal with these situations. I had a situation yesterday where, I was confronted with an opportunity to lose my cool and to put somebody in their place. And instead, I said my piece, I stood my ground, and I subtracted myself from the equation, because I knew that for the long haul, it was the best thing to do. It was the best thing for me to walk away, because I didn't want it to affect anybody that I cared about. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you're listening to this and you are in a situation where you're struggling how to handle it or whatever, and you kind of just want to fly off. Maybe it's a boss you're working with. Maybe it's it's someone you're in a relationship with. Maybe it's your kids. Maybe it's just a coworker, whoever it is. They always say your first reaction is probably the reaction you have. I don't know how much I agree with that, because my first reaction yesterday was to do something that probably would have landed me in jail. And I can tell you right now, that wasn't going to be the best reaction to take action on. Instead, it was my second action, where it was state your case, say your piece, be firm in that, and then subtract yourself. So I'm sharing this with you guys because if you are in a situation like that, if you have children, if you have a spouse that really loves you and is hoping that you don't fall off the rails or whatever, or if you react to the first reaction you have, or you take action on that, if that's going to land you in a place where you don't want to be and it takes you away from those you love, think about that. Slow the situation down. If you're encountering somebody, let them say what they need to say. And as they're doing it, process it and tell yourself, I control my reaction to what's being said right now. I control this situation. I'm hearing them, I'm processing it, but I control how I react to what is being said to me right now. And I think once you do that, in fact, I know once you do that, you'll end up coming up with the right response, and you'll be able to walk away with a clear conscience. And it doesn't matter how big or small the situation is. Mine was pretty big yesterday. But I know I made the right decision, because I talked to people afterwards. And although everybody's in my corner going to bat for me, it was still the right decision for me to say, listen, I'm done. I'm not part of this equation anymore. You understand? I hope you guys do. This has been episode 148 of the Perfect Mess Podcast. Very short episode, but I wanted to get this out there to you guys. So if you like it, if you feel like it hits home for you or for anybody that you love, please share this episode, okay? I love you guys. My website is raymolina.com. Bookmark it, please. I also have a store on there where you can shop and buy t-shirts, hats, whatever. That's raymolina.com. The podcast is on Instagram and TikTok at The Perfect Mess Pod. My personal Instagram and TikTok is at It's Ray Molina. The YouTube is youtube.com/The Perfect Mess Pod. Please subscribe and hit the notifications bell. I am on Rumble, Threads, X, what is it? What is the other one with the phone? Clubhouse. I'm on Clubhouse. I am on Snapchat. I'm on everything. So if you're looking for me on other platforms, search all those platforms. You'll find me there. All right. Like I always say, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess. But for me, it is the perfect mess. I love you guys. Peace.